Welcome back to Building Tomorrow, a show where ideas meet action to inspire change and shape the future. Welcome back to Building Tomorrow, a show where ideas meet action to inspire change and shape the future. With me is a distinguished guest who is a business enthusiast. And before we went on a break, we were talking about the kind of investments one should make and the kind of skills one should go into. So right now, Ms. Abubakar, welcome back.
Thank you.
What kind of business or what kind of investment can someone make with just as little as 100,000 or a million?
Okay. Again, I would still advise that before anybody invests in anything, he should look at his circumstance, his personal circumstance. If you are someone with a lot of time, you could explore many areas. But if your time is limited, then you should look at investing in businesses that do not require your active participation.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask me now, what would I do with 100,000 naira? Honestly, I will tell you, I'm going to use it to learn a new skill, which I'm going to. If I learn that new skill, I'm going to make sure I utilize that skill for as long as possible. With 100,000 naira, I can get enrolled in a decent, maybe online course that will teach me about things like I said earlier, digital marketing, content creation, so maybe something about data analytics. Then, if I get that skill, I'll make sure I utilize it for as long as possible and keep on improving. And if I have 1 million naira, that's a larger amount, quite alright. I could venture into things like commodity trade, things like farming. So it all depends on someone's personal circumstance. One thing about business is there's no one shoe fits all size, You just have to look at your current situation. If you have maybe some space in your house, you could have a small poultry farm at the back of your house. But if you don't, you could think of something outside. So at the end of the day, it all depends on your personal circumstance. Maybe look at your interests. Do you have any talents that you feel people have told you that okay, you have this talent, you can explore that talent. Like I said, there's no one shoe fits all. So,
With 100,000, do you think one can go into poetry?
of course, yes, you can.
Oh,
You
okay.
can.
Can you just give us a little guide on with just this little 100,000 how one can start poetry or a business? Just a guide for someone who doesn't have an idea, zero idea.
Zero idea. Okay. So, like you said, 100,000 naira. Let me tell you a story. I actually watched this interview. Someone asked Aliko Dangote, like, what experience have you had in your life that really touched you? He said, I remember, I'm quoting from Dangote now. He said, I remember there was time I attended a business program. He was saying that he attended a business seminar in a certain venue. I can't remember the name of that venue, but when he came out, a lady met him and said, can you loan me some money? Like, I'm into tailoring business. I have a very small tailoring machine that I want to use, to make these kinds of clothes. He said, he thought maybe it's just like people who usually ask him for money. So he said at the time what he gave her was like 15,000 naira. Do you know that this woman utilized that money? And he said after something like 1 year or 2 years, she came and she returned his money. Something brought him to that same venue and he said, this woman returned this money back to me. So with 100,000 naira, you could just start a small provision store as long as you have the time, to monitor it. Make sure what counts, what is the most important in business is turnover, Make sure that you turn over and you keep on reinvesting your money. So with 100,000 naira, you could start a provision store, you could go into like poultry farming, and it's very, very important to start small and scale up as you grow. You don't have to say like, I'm going to start like the big people. Everybody you see who is successful in business started somewhere. So you start small and you gradually scale it upwards.
Exactly. Wow. Okay, so Mr. Abubakar, real estate, stocks, crypto, agriculture. How do you choose the right investment wisely without falling for scams?
This is a very
because
good question.
a lot of people are afraid about scams, and a lot out there have been scammed, and that's why some of them are even afraid to start something or to continue. Some of them have already given up. So, what can you say on that?
I would still take you to the advice I got from Alhaji Ali Kudomoto, who said that you should never go into a business if you cannot explain the business from A to Z. If you don't know the hooks and carries of a particular business, there's no point in going into that business. The number one reason why people fall victim to scams is because they don't do their due diligence. They don't take time to analyze their business proposal, evaluate it, whether it makes sense, ask around, ask for advice from people, from trusted sources. So just don't just jump into a business because someone told you like, ooh, there's good money in this.
Yeah.
And a lot of people fall victim to this, especially in this thing called crypto.
Crypto.
Most people who invest in crypto these days, if you ask them how exactly does crypto work, how many kinds of cryptocurrencies do we have, what is blockchain technology, how does it work? Honestly, they can't really explain to you, but they'll tell you like, come and invest in crypto. Just because someone told them like he made maybe $10,000 in crypto and they just want you to come and join crypto. So the most important thing is due diligence.
Okay, now this takes us back to investments, right? A lot of people nowadays invest in buying a land, right? And this is where a lot of people get scammed, right? Recently, I was discussing with an elderly woman, and she was telling me that she and her friends, about five of them, come together and they get a particular land, and everybody brings in what they have, right? Say the money is 2 million, the land is 2 million, right? And then everybody is going to bring their own parts, right? And when they sell it, then they're going to share the profit. And this is something that a lot of people have been scammed when it comes to land business. And majority of people, this is what they know when it comes to investment, getting a land, buying a house. So how can people protect themselves from getting scammed on this? I know due diligence, you mentioned that, right? So,
Okay, when it comes to land, you know, there are some relevant authorities that are in charge of allocation of lands and maybe the ownership and all those things, who has the CFO, certificate of occupancy and all those documents. I think the number one reason why people get scammed when it comes to buying land is because they don't buy it through the right channels. What do I mean by the right channel? First of all, make sure you go to the relevant authorities. Let them do a search. Let it be sure that that land actually has an allocation number, it has the right documents, and don't go and buy land from maybe someone who tells you like, don't worry, I know the person who owns the person, I know the person who knows the person.
exactly.
Follow the right channel. It might be expensive. It might be a little bit more expensive, but better safe than sorry, right? So make sure you do your due diligence and follow the right channel. Don't be, exactly, don't be too quick to invest your money, and make sure you sacrifice a small token just to make sure you do the right thing so that you save yourself from unnecessary headaches.
Yeah, yeah. So, Mr. Bukar, now when it comes to buying these houses and all, like this story that I just shared, do you think it's important for people to invest into stuff like this as a group instead of doing it individually? Is there any significance to doing something like that?
Of course, yes. Like they say, together everybody achieves more, right? So if you don't have the capacity by yourself to buy a piece of land, if you buy it as a group, you guys can buy, contribute, and then at the end of the day, it will be the profits if you sell will be shared according to everybody's individual contributions.
Exactly.
So of course it's a good idea, but what is important is to make sure you get the right partner. They say partnership is just like marriage. If you marry the wrong person, then fights every day.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. So, what's the biggest mistake people make when trying to invest?
The biggest mistake people make is they do not do their due diligence, number one, and number two is that they get greedy. What do I mean by that?
Greedy.
Someone tells you like, okay, there's a business proposal I have that can make you maybe 100% profit within 2 days or 3 days, or maybe someone will just tell you, if you give me 100,000 naira today, by the end of the week, I'm going to pay you 150,000 naira. Come on, let's be realistic. There's no business that has that much certainty. It's just like whenever you hear something like that, just know that it's a sign of Ponzi schemes, Ponzi schemes, Ponzi schemes. Real businesses have risks and rewards. So a good business proposal sounds something like this. Okay, I'm going to buy this asset and I'm going to make sure I spend this amount to bring it to a good marketable value, then I'm going to sell it. How much exactly, I don't know, but I have an idea. Maybe you could have 20%, 30%, 50% gain. That sounds more reasonable than someone who will just come and tell you that, just bring 100,000 and by the end of the month, you get 200,000.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So, due diligence and avoid greed.
Okay, so now I want us to talk about those salary earners, right? How can someone budget their salary properly to avoid being broke before month end?
Okay, salary earners. This question is for you. Honestly, from experience, the best advice I can give is make sure you save first before you spend everything. Yeah, before you spend anything. And make sure you save. The first thing you should do when you get your paycheck is save. Commit to saving at least 10% of your paycheck, at least. And you can use that billionaires money management formula that I said earlier, the 70, 10, 10, and 10 rule. Don't spend more than 70% of your salary. Save 10%, invest 10%, and 10% can be used for charity or any other worldly cause. Don't spend before budgeting and saving. Very, very important, salary earners.
But Mr. Abubakar, in this economy that we're at right now, someone that earns say 100,000 and below, can they really save and still take care of, say the person is married? Would they be able to do that?
Okay, some people might be in such bad financial situations that the 70, 10, 10, and 10 formula might not work best for them.
Exactly.
But still, they can use the 97, 1, 1, and 1 formula. If you're in a really bad situation, then start with the 97, 1, 1, and 1 formula.
I hope our audience got that. You just have to squeeze
You
them
must
say
say
something.
And do you know the strange thing about this? I will refer you to this book, The Richest Man in Babylon. There's a character there named Akkad. He said when he resolved to start saving 10% of his earnings, he said, as strange as it may seem, he managed to get back. He was already broke. He always didn't have money, but when he committed himself to saving 10%, nothing in his life changed. He was able to still go about it. You just need to make sure you do a few adjustments. Just cut out the unnecessary fat.
So could you share with our audience the types of books or platforms for them to learn more about finances?
Okay, honestly, the best book I have read so far for myself on financial literacy and financial management is number 1, Richest Man in Babylon. Number 2, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Number 3, The Millionaire Next Door. And number 4, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. If you read these 4 books, honestly, I don't think you need anything else.
Wow. I'm sure our audience got that. So before we close this, I just have one more question, Mr. Bakar. What's the biggest money lesson you wish everyone knew?
The biggest money lesson? Honestly, I feel the biggest money lesson that everyone should know is, number 1, money hates idleness. Money hates idleness. If you have money, don't just say you're going to save it. Many people miss this point. Always make sure you try and invest it somewhere. And also, money hates noise. Don't say like, when I have money, I want to buy this, I want to buy this. Just be calm. Have you ever been with rich people before? Have you noticed that they are calm, composure?
They're always calm.
They're always calm because they know
always calm.
money hates. They always invest and they always make sure they don't show off. So don't buy more than what you need.
Sure. Okay. So, Mr. Abubakar, what are three practical things our audience should do immediately to improve their finance?
Okay. For anybody listening or watching, tuning in on this program, number one, make sure you save at least 10% of each paycheck you receive. So I'm giving you tonight to think about it, but you must start tomorrow. Save at least 10%. When you save, don't just save and keep the money because inflation is going to eat it up. Invest. And when you do invest wisely, make sure you reinvest and reinvest and invest. That way your money will work for you and inshallah you'll be financially independent.
Mr. Abubakar, there's something really important that I'm sure a lot of our viewers would love to know. How should someone handle loans and debt to avoid financial problems?
Loans. Just
And
take and debt, if it's not absolutely necessary. I always tell people that you should never ever take a loan except under two circumstances. Number one, out of dire necessity, absolute necessity, that if you do not take that loan, maybe you are going to, maybe you have a serious health challenge, and if you don't take the loan to pay for that treatment, you are going to die. And number two is only for you to expand an already profitable business. But other than these two circumstances, I don't think it's a wise idea to call it a loan. Save and invest. You would not have to take any loans.
Okay. So, Mr. Abubakar, this is call to action,
Yes.
right? Do you have any final words or advice for Nigerians trying to build wealth despite the economic challenges we're facing?
My fellow Nigerians, my advice to you, to myself first and to you, is we should all persevere. Let's not give up. Remember Jack Ma's statement. He said, today might be bad, tomorrow may be worse, but the day after tomorrow will be better. So let's be positive, let's have faith. Let's keep on keeping on, like Two-Face Udibia said. It's not easy. I know everybody is feeling the pinch, but we all have to start somewhere. Small progress is better than no progress at all. So that's my advice to save and invest wisely. And no matter how little you earn, make sure you save a little and invest it wisely.
Oh, thank you so much for that. I'll start saving today.
Thank you very much for having me.
That's it for today on Building Tomorrow. We have uncovered some powerful secrets about money, but knowledge alone isn't enough. Taking action is the real game changer. So start today, build wisely, and create the future you deserve. A heartfelt thank you to our distinguished guest, Mr. Abubakar, for his wisdom and inspiring ideas, and to our incredible audience, thank you for joining us. Remember, we are building tomorrow together. I remain your host, Fatima Bukar. See you next time.
Al-Ansar TV, TV for humanity.